Abortion, abortion, abortion. What is your take on abortion? Are you pro-life or pro-choice? As for me, I am pro-choice. Abortion to me is not murder. Abortion to me is healthcare. And every woman deserves the right to make that decision. Every woman should have autonomy to her body. What she decides to do with her body is up to her. There are so many reasons a woman decides to end a fetus. Last week, the internet was on fire. And why was that? McJuggerNuggets, who is a YouTuber, filmed their decision to end the pregnancy after 21 weeks. Everyone came online and gave various opinion on why the abortion was wrong. And the reason McJuggerNuggets and his wife decided to end the pregnancy after 21 weeks was because they discovered that the fetus had Down syndrome. Now, a decision like that will spark conversations. Why would you do that? You killed your baby. You're heartless. Everybody was sharing different kinds of opinion on the internet. Welcome to Daring and Unfiltered. My name is Oruh. This is episode 2, and today we will be discussing abortion right. Now, here on Daring and Unfiltered, I am going to share my opinion with you, and I want you to share your opinion with me as well on what you think about abortion. For me, abortion is not murder. Abortion is healthcare, and every woman deserves the right to do with their body as they please. They are the carrier of the fetus, and once it is not going to be birthed in a healthy, good condition, there is no need to bring that child into the world and watch that child suffer. Down syndrome and so many other genetic disabilities are one of the major reasons parents decide to go for an abortion. Abortion is a very sensitive topic. It's highly polarized, and a lot of people do not want to have this conversation. They shy away from this kind of conversation, and the stigmatization around abortion is the reason a lot of young girls, a lot of women go for unsafe abortion. Abortion should not be stigmatized. Abortion should not be considered evil. To me, abortion is neither good, neither bad. I know you might come for me and say, but Amanda, if you don't want a child, why engage in sex? I get you. I totally agree with you. And that is why you have all kinds of birth control methods. The use of condom, the use of pills, the use of, family planning methods, all kinds. But then again, we know that sometimes things happen, and these things can be unplanned. Now, aside that, my focus today is fetus that have been diagnosed with genetic disabilities. Everybody is saying, oh, Down syndrome babies deserve to live. I, for one, I agree. But you're not going to make that decision for me or for the other woman if they decide to say, I can't take care of a child who is diagnosed with Down syndrome or any kind of genetic disability. We are so quick to say, oh, a child should not be killed. A fetus is a baby, blah, 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 blah. But how many of you can sacrifice your entire life taking care of a child who is genetically disabled? You're quick to judge the woman, to call her a murderer, to call her useless, to call her evil, or even the man. But how many men stay back and take care of that child? A lot of times the man disappears. It is the woman who sacrifices her career, her life, everything to nurture and care for that child. And a lot of these kids do not have a good life. You might want to argue with me, but the statistics are there. Jess Ridgway and his wife have been getting a lot of online hate, online trolls, and everybody's just sharing their opinion one way or another. But the truth is, a lot of decisions that people make are not because they just want to make them. They're not fun to make. They are hard decisions. The anger might be directed towards them because they filmed it and put the video on their YouTube channel that is monetized. Some people are of the opinion that they made money off of the horrible decision that they made. Why would you film the whole thing and place it on your YouTube channel if you do not want to make money out of the evil you've done? Is the anger towards them because they filmed and the channel is monetized, or is the anger genuinely towards the action that they had to go through? I believe that parents should be able to make informed reproductive decisions without being branded as murderers by internet goals. It is not an easy decision. Nobody goes around wanting to terminate their pregnancy. Nobody goes around saying, oh, this week I'm going to terminate 5 pregnancies, or this month I would end 2 pregnancies, or this year I would end 10 pregnancies. Abortion is as difficult as childbirth. It is not a walk in the park as anybody thinks. And people or women who have engaged in this act have done it with different reasons behind it. One, it could be rape. A woman or a girl who is raped and as a result gets pregnant has every right to say, I do not want this baby. Has every right to say this pregnancy needs to be terminated. That is not murder. That is a full agency of a human being. That is a woman or a girl deciding, I can't bring a child to this life that I will not love, that I will not care for, that I will not cater to. There is no reason a baby should be born into a world where he or she will not be loved, will not be catered to, will not be cared for. Now, another reason could be genetic disability, like that of Jesse McJuggerNuggets. I believe in my heart that it was a tough decision, and for them to have filmed the whole thing is because they announced the pregnancy already on their YouTube channel. And I think if they had done that, they had every right to keep their audience informed of the next step or whatever decision that they have made. It might not be palatable to your ears or good to you, but that is their decision to make. That is their choice to make. The way people are talking about the situation is absolutely disgusting, in my opinion. You can believe whatever you want to believe, all right? But using someone's pain or grief to publicly shame them and ridicule them, for me, it's heartless. I know you will say, but Amanda, they put the video on their YouTube channel and it is public, so the public is open to criticize however they please or however they choose. I understand that. The video is on their public page on their YouTube channel, and everybody has a right to say whatever they want to say. However, in your bid to say, I do not agree with this, I do not think this is right, there's no sense in condemning and destroying and trolling them and even threatening them. There's no need to do that. It was a tough decision and they had to make it. I'm going to read Jess Ridgway tweet. That's MC McJuggerNuggets, okay? I have it here on my system, and let's read it. He says, this week, my wife and I made the very difficult decision to terminate the pregnancy due to trisomy 21, I believe. The choice was not made lightly. We really appreciate all of the personal stories that you guys shared with us, especially the unconditional support we received from fans with no matter what we decided. I know some of you may be very disappointed to hear this news. We are devastated. This has been extremely traumatic for both of us, especially Ashley. She underwent the procedure earlier this week and is on the mend. Thankfully, everything went smoothly, but emotionally, we are drained. Trisomy 21, also known as Down syndrome, is caused by an extra chromosome. It is caused by an error in cell division, like a glitch. The odds of a baby having it is 1 in 1,000. When I first confronted this news, I was shocked but optimistic. If they are a little slow, intellectually, then we will make it work. I signed on to be a parent, come what may. But I just didn't fully understand what Down syndrome entailed. Once we made it public, it became clear that most people don't know what Down syndrome entails. And no, it is not the same as autism. 50% of babies with DS have heart defects. 75% will have hearing challenges. Over 50% will have vision problems, impaired immune function, developmental disabilities, learning disabilities, delayed physical development, poor muscle tone, structural issues with face, decreased lifespan, etc. Sadly, the list is long. Feel free to look it up. Down syndrome isn't a blessing. It is objectively shitty from a health perspective. I didn't realize just how rough it is for the child, let alone the family. More often than not, they would be fully dependent on others for the rest of their life. The miscarriage risk is also close to 50%, which made matters worse. They may never see the light of day, and it puts Ashley's further at risk. We spoke with doctors, friends, family, and genetic counselors and learned that up to 90% of women terminate their pregnancy after learning the baby has trisomy 21. This was way higher than I expected. I thought it would be lower given that I hear so many say they kept or would keep that baby. I believe that is because most termination happen privately. It feels shameful, a lot of judgments being cast. You never think you would be in this type of situation until it happens to you, and then things change. To all my fans who have weighed in on this topic, who have autism, Down syndrome, or any other conditions, we appreciate you. You matter a lot, and we are glad you're here. I commend you and your families for having the strength and courage to push forward. As for us, we made a difficult decision that we believe in the long run will be beneficial for our family. Thankfully, we had a choice. It will take a little time to move on, but we're excited to try again in the future and hopefully have a better outcome. Love you guys and thank you for understanding. This had 24 million views. This was posted on the 4th of June 2026. Now, this is from Jesse and Ashley. I believe so. And if you heard what I just read, you would understand it was not an easy decision for them to make. Down syndrome and every other genetic disabilities comes with a lot of risk. You have no idea what it's like because you don't have a child who has Down syndrome or any other disability. You might have a child or kids who have Down syndrome or any other disabilities, and you have been able to manage it well. But the question is, how has that been for you? Truthfully, how has that been for you and for that child? Do you enjoy the kind of life that child or children is living? Do you enjoy the life that you as a mother is living? Because I bet you are 90% of the time the only one catering to the well-being of that child. The father is nowhere to be found or practically uninvolved in the life of that child. I like to pen my thoughts sometimes so that I do not forget it, and I have a journal where I write like things about situations, myself, and the life in general. This is what I wrote on my journal. You don't have to agree with someone's choice to recognize that they are still human, still hurting, and still the ones who have to live with this for the rest of their lives. Compassion should not be conditional on whether someone made the right decision or not. Oh, they recorded it and put it public to make money from it. Yeah, rightly so, because the channel is monetized, right? This is not to say babies with Down syndrome or any other genetic disabilities don't deserve to live. There is also room for test results to change, I agree. But if the parent, especially the mother, doesn't want to go through with the pregnancy, it is her choice to decide what she does with her body. Men simply call it inconveniences, but this brings me to ask, who actually stays behind for years, sacrificing everything to care for the child? The father or the mother? Now, I wrote again in my journal, the anger is that they filmed it, shared it, and made money from it. Who decides what a content creator creates or shares? You might not like it, but it doesn't change their genuine reason for doing it. How many percentage of Down syndrome children have a normal life? Please, I really want to know how many. Not every kid will turn out like yours. If yours turned out good, if your child who has Down syndrome or any other disability turned out good, how many percentage of babies turn out good? I really want to know. Morally, I don't see abortion as wrong. I don't see it as murder. I don't see it as bad. It is a human right that every woman and a man involved in her life should make and decide upon. You might want to say, Amanda, if they had an abortion, they shouldn't have shared it with the public. Again, remember that Jesse and Ashley announced their pregnancy to their audience, right? I believe that when that diagnosis was made or discovered or found, they felt that there was a need to have that conversation with their audience. And yes, they could have just kept the thing private. They could have just done the abortion and let it go and, act like nothing happened. But in the long run, when people don't see a baby or nothing, they would ask questions. You would ask questions or say, oh, Ashley, Jesse, you talked about your pregnancy announcement. Where is the baby? That will still end up, they will still end up talking about the abortion and the conversation will still be heard. So why not just tell you all at once what has happened, right? Pro-life versus pro-choice. I am strongly pro-choice. And you might say, oh, people should just go about killing their babies or their fetus, blah, blah, blah. A woman decides what will happen to her body. If she gets pregnant right now and her health is now at risk, and there's every possibility that she might die because of the pregnancy, by all means, let her get an abortion. If during the course of the pregnancy, some diagnosis somewhere states that this child will not have a good life, by all means, the abortion should be done. A child deserves to come into this world and enjoy life and have a good life. It hurts me when I see children suffering. It hurts me when I see children being bullied because of their disabilities. You all are clamoring, oh, have the baby should leave, you're a murderer, da 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 da. But do you have an idea what these disabled kids go through at school? How they're mocked, how they're bullied, how they're ridiculed. Do you have an idea? You don't have an idea. Even the people around them, the so-called families and friends around them, they don't find themselves comfortable enough to be around them. Listen, that is no life, in my opinion. Okay? Even in Nigeria here, back then, they will call babies or kids with disabilities, they'll call them Ode. They say, sit down, Ode. They tag them as Ode when they don't understand autism or Down syndrome or any kind of other genetic disabilities. They harass these kids, they mock these children, they bully them at school. They think that they are awkward, they're different, they're ugly, they're unwanted. Do you know what that does to a child? What that does to any human being? So why would I bring my baby into that kind of situation? I'd rather the baby goes back to heaven and stay with God there. And now this brings me to the religious people who will say, Amanda, abortion is against God's word. I think that God is not the way you guys look at him. Or I think God is a woman. Yeah. God is not the way you look at her. Because if I know that this fetus will kill me, or I know that this fetus is going to have a very ugly, horrible life, I'm not going to be so mean and wicked to bring that fetus to life. I'm not going to watch my baby every day in pain, in turmoil. I can't bring myself to do that to a child. So the child or the fetus has to go. Let God be the judge at the end of the day. But I would do what is best for that fetus and for my life. Because again, at the end of the day, the mother bears all the brunt. I also think that abortion is a religious issue. It is tied to religion, right? And a lot of people are burdened, I'll say burdened, with babies that they do not want, right? I would not get raped today and end up being pregnant and keep that baby. No. And it's okay if a rape survivor decides to keep their baby. That's fine. That's okay. That's their choice. But I, for one, will not do that. I will not bring that child to the world. I won't do that because I can't even stand to look at that baby knowing that that child is a reminder of what happened to me. It cracks me up that men are the most offended by this decision when they are the first to abandon the moms with the babies and they go on with their single lives while the mom shoulders all the damn burden. I see a lot of you Christians, even Muslims, antagonizing the couple and everyone who is pro-choice. It is very hilarious, especially men. You only target a sin when it's aborting of a fetus that sadly needs medical urgency and lifetime dependence. Fornication, adultery, lying, wickedness, covetousness is all human flesh weakness. You're just being hypocrites. You only pick and choose what you tag as sin at your own convenience. This is a research. It says pregnancy-related death in Texas have jumped 56% since abortion was banned. Now, you can imagine people having unsafe abortion because it has been banned in so many places in the US, in Africa, in some countries in Africa, in Europe and all that. Now, this leads these girls and these women to undergo unsafe abortion, leading to death, leading to the destruction of their wombs, of their reproductive organs. Abortion should be safe. Abortion should not be banned. It should be a right of every girl and woman to decide what they want to do with their body. Medical doctors, nurses should not be criminalized or penalized because they have carried out abortion for somebody. The more this is banned, the more abortion is quoted in stigmatization, the more lives we lose, the more unsafe abortions. I'm going to also read this thought of mine. Pro-life people kill me, honestly. Some people that won't marry anyone who has a disabled sibling or even a disabled person is talking about keeping a fetus that is disabled. In Nigeria, we don't even have any single infrastructure built for disabled people. It is that bad. And here you all are clamoring for the woman to have kept the baby. Nigeria as a whole has poor infrastructure system for disabled people. Schools don't even have that either. Children with disabilities are treated poorly every day. I have some other tweets that I would like to share with you. Some very important tweets. Now, this is a research by WHO. Globally, approximately 73 million induced abortions occur each year, meaning 6 in 10 unintended pregnancy end in abortion. While the rate remains relatively stable, the legal landscapes and safety conditions vary dramatically across regions, with 45% of all induced abortions worldwide classified as unsafe due to restrictive laws or lack of medical access. Global statistics and rates. Total volume, roughly 200,000 abortions take place every day globally. This is from Worldometer. Regional disparities. The abortion rate differs significantly by region, often reflecting access to contraception. Developing regions generally have higher abortion rates, around 36 per 1,000 women, compared to developed regions, around 27 per 1,000 women. Safety. The WHO notes that abortion is extremely safe when performed with recommended methods, but unsafe abortions remain a leading cause of maternal mortality. Abortions were not invented by a specific person or at a specific time. Rather, the practice of terminating a pregnancy dates back thousands of years and has been documented across virtually all ancient cultures. The earliest written evidence of induced abortion comes from the Ebers Papyrus in ancient Egypt around 1550 BCE. These historical records document the use of various non-surgical methods, including, read more, herbal preparations, mixtures and teas, vagina suppositories, and tampons coated with ingredients like honey, crushed dates, or crocodile dung, deep abdominal massages. This is on Wikipedia. Throughout antiquity and the Middle Ages, physicians, midwives, and healers across Greece, Rome, India, and China regularly used botanical abortifacients and other physical techniques. Surgical interventions evolved much later with modern, safe, clinical procedures such as vacuum aspiration and medical abortion being developed in the 20th century. I'm going to read out some few tweets that's caught my attention. Okay, this one is from Tomiwa Tegbe. It is not you people's fault. It's because it's been talked about here. You think anybody will come and ask for your opinion or permission before they remove a fetus with DS? LOL. You that will complain to your child's teacher if his seat is next to a kid with DS in class. You that won't invite the kid with DS to your child's birthday party so they don't make your guests uncomfortable. You that will get irritated in a fast food restaurant or church if a kid with DS walks in with their parents and they sit next to you. It is here you can be grandstanding and posturing. People are deadbeating able-bodied kids every day, easily. It is now special need kids, they won't deadbeat. Be yawning dust there because no be you guys face the struggle of dealing with the ability to care emotionally, financially, the concerns about the child's quality of life, the bullying and social exclusion in an intolerant and discriminatory environment, long-term family impact and future of the kid if anything happens to the primary caregivers. Online where you guys talk about all these things. Now, what he says is very, very important. See, you might say all you want to say, but raising a child that is genetically impaired comes with a lot of challenges, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, name it. The caregivers, especially the mothers, go through an enormous level of pain and discomfort. I'm not saying, it's an inconvenience, I should just be thrown away. Listen, you have to weigh your options. And if it's not looking great for you, and you need to abort that fetus, by all means, abort it. Recently, the best form of support a church could give to an autistic boy was to marry him off to a woman almost 30 years his senior. His father, a pastor, married his son, who is autistic, to a woman who is 30 years older than his son. These are people that want to stand on soapboxes and preach anti-abortion. A country that hides such kids from society. People hide their children who are genetically impaired. People hide them. They are so ashamed of their kids. Now, this is from Nze. He says, we don't even have any single infrastructure built for disabled people, but you are fighting for the right to bring disabled kids to earth. Your road is a danger to young children. Now imagine disabled kids. Talk is cheap. Even animals don't kill their young. That is not human. That is cowardice, selfishness, murder, you idiot. And this person responded and said, animals literally eat their sick newborn young. What are you talking about here? Rape does not justify abortion. The child is innocent. Really? Really? And this is someone's response to this tweet. This sounds like what a rapist would say. Absolutely, I agree. You are not woman enough for giving your husband only female children. Imagine what you will be called for having special needs children. Actually, they would disappear. People that run away from the hospital because it's a girl again for the third time. Please don't fucking kill me. If you do not agree with the fact of having a disabled child, do not have a child. This is not a debate. And here is the response. As a disabled person, if I learned before the birth that my child has a disability, I would absolutely not want my child to live through what I have lived through. Did you hear that? Okay. If abortion becomes illegal, women and girls are just gonna start throwing themselves down the stairs again and shoving coat hangers in their body again. You fucking idiots. You can't get rid of abortion. You are only getting rid of safe, medically supervised ones. This and many more are the tweets that I saw that caught my attention, right? I'm going to read out Kerry Washington's statement in 2023 on abortion rights. I just took a few of her words from the interview. A lot of times we have our reproductive lives cloaked in secrecy. We don't talk about our abortions or our miscarriages or adoption or infertility. We have a lot of shame around it. I wanted to tell the story because I feel like it is not getting the attention that it should get. Having an abortion doesn't make me a bad person. The right to have an abortion is an important right. It is part of my agency as a woman. It is fine if you don't agree with abortion. It is fine if you don't think you want to have one. But you don't get to tell me what to do with my body and make the choices that are right for me. I will say this anywhere is the hill that I want to die on. And you might say, oh, Amanda, maybe you've had abortions in the past. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But abortion is a necessary right that every woman should have. All right? You might not like my idea. You might not like my opinion. You might not like my thought about it. That is your choice and that is your decision. I'm not going to force you to undergo abortion if you don't want to go through it. But you trying to tell me that I'm a murderer or I'm a bad person because I had an abortion, that is absolutely horse shit. It is every woman's right. It is like she said in her interview, the right to have an abortion is an important right. And policies, presidents, governments, governance, whatever that are releasing rules and laws against abortion is doing more harm than good. I know that wherever Jess and Ashley are right now, they are still going through a lot. I know Ashley is still healing. Abortion is not a walk in the park. It is not an easy act. It takes a lot of courage to go through it. It takes a lot of decision making to go through it. And it is not just an optics. If you need to do it, by all means do it. If the situation at hand is not going to give the fetus the best life and you the best life, there is no need to have it. And lastly, I want to say, if you're going to have sex and you're not married, please use a condom, or celibacy is the best decision or the best option. And if you're married, you don't want to use pills or family planning methods or whatever, then I think you guys should have a discussion around your husband having a vasectomy. But it is also important that if you want to have a child and this child comes with all kinds of genetic disabilities, all kinds of genetic problems, it is your choice to decide what to do with the baby. And whatever decision you make, it is not good, it is not bad. You made that decision because that is the best thing to do at the time. I know that women out there who have undergone abortion might have been feeling guilty, feeling hard on themselves, judging themselves harshly, but I'm begging you, don't do that. Don't do that. you made the right decision, because it will be worse if you had brought a child into this world and you do not care for them, love them, and give them the best life. Even those that are financially stable and okay, if they tell you what they go through handling and caring for a disabled child, you will marvel. Please, in all you do, make a decision that works for you, regardless of what society thinks or says. That is my take on this conversation. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I am your girl, Amanda. Don't hate me, don't love me, but whatever you do, stick around and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye.